Okay, this is a game changer. Firstly, welcome to Crafty Music Tips. My name is Crafty. I'm a full-time musician, and somehow, working on music all the time, I've managed to completely miss the fact that Xvive has released the U3 microphone wireless transmitter and receivers, which I think are fantastic.
Fantastic.
I'm going to tell you how they're useful for me and what you get with it, and everything you need to know. Okay, but first, what are these things? So you're probably familiar with this. This is an XLR cable that has a male and a female end. So what they do effectively is just replace having a cable. There are limitations, of course, but it can make a dynamic microphone wireless. It can make any speaker connection doable without the need of a cable. Now, I should point out that this unit is only okay to be used for dynamic microphones, meaning ones that don't need phantom power and that aren't condenser microphones. If you did want to use it for a condenser microphone, well, Xvive have released the U3C, but in this video, we're going to be talking about the U3.
Oh, I see.
All right, so what do you get in the box? Well, I did an unboxing and found a transmitter, a receiver, a two-way charging cable, some instructions, and a soft fabric carry bag. And in regards to the specs, these babies have an inbuilt rechargeable lithium-ion battery, which take about 1.5 to 2.5 hours to charge, and they last around 5 hours.
Boom, boom, long time.
They have a high-fidelity 24-bit 48 kilohertz digital audio signal path, and they transmit a really broad frequency response. So basically what the human ear can hear, 20 hertz to 20K. Whoa, this is good. All right, so they also have a wide dynamic range, a high signal-to-noise ratio, a low harmonic distortion. Now, the signal is extremely stable. It broadcasts on the 2.4 gigahertz band. There's a 90-foot or a 27.5 meter range within sight that it can transmit and receive to. And there's only a 5 millisecond latency delay, so the human ear can't audibly distinguish the delay.
What?
Now, in case you're wondering how many of these channels you can use at any one time simultaneously, you can use up to 6, which include all different Xvive units. Now, in case you're wondering what the sound quality is like in comparison to a cable, well, I tested it and it sounded the same to me. Okay, this is plugged in with a cable. Sounds like this, 222, 1, 2. Let's test out the U3. Two, 2, 1, 2. Hey! I've got a wireless. I can go anywhere I like. Hey, without a cable. Yeah! All right, I'm gonna test how far can this bad boy go. All right, count the steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 20 steps. Right at the back. There's the stage there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bit of delay. If I go through a different door, hey, 1, 2. Still working. Jeepers. So basically, it's got a big range on this thing. Awesome. Go Xvive! Woo! Okay, so I went a far distance. Quite far. But the beauty is that you don't have to buy a dedicated wireless microphone to be able to go anywhere you like on stage. Yes, I know that just a normal wireless microphone, a dedicated wireless microphone, can do what I just did and not have cables getting tangled and caught up in all the other musos on stage. But, you know, this is optional. It's fantastic. And one of my favourite personal things that I like to do with a wireless is come out into the crowd. All right, I'm just imagining that you're saying, all right, Crafty, we get it. Like, it's got good specs and like the sound quality is good, but like, is it a pain to set up? I'm glad you asked. Okay, allow me to give you the quick setup guide. It's pretty easy. So just make sure you've got some charge. The first real thing you got to do is you've got to plug the transmitter into either the microphone or the mixer output, wherever it's receiving the signal from. Okay, so the second thing is to either plug in the receiver into the mixer or the speaker input, wherever it'll be sending the signal to. Now, the third step is if you are using it for a microphone, you just got to set the transmitter to the mic selection position. And if you want it to go to a speaker, we'll just set the transmitter to a line selection position. The fourth thing you got to do is just make sure that both the transmitter and the receiver are set to the same channel so that they're talking to each other. And so it usually only takes a second or so for them to pair. Once they've been paired successfully, a green light will appear. All right, now, just in case you're worried about accidentally plugging a transmitter into a channel that's already got phantom power going into it, if you're worried that it's going to affect it, no worries. There's an onboard protection circuit which just makes it all safe.
That's a relief.
Okay, so I did say at the start of this video that basically these things are replacing the need for an actual cable. So there's quite a few uses, more so than just making a microphone a wireless or stopping the need for a cable to go to a speaker. So yeah, you're probably familiar with vocalists using wireless microphones, but what about, let's say you needed a drum kit to be completely moved off of the stage really fast, or you've got some horn players or string players, you know, with like a clip-on mic, and there's cables that are going to be in the way. So there's a lot of on-stage clutter that can be potentially cleared. Also, think about DIs, amps, effects pedals that have XLR outs. You know, all of a sudden, they don't need to have actual cables anymore necessarily. Also, your front of house, or maybe, you know, a bunch of foldback speakers, so that all of these things are just so much neater and movable just at the drop of a hat is just fantastic. Perhaps there's a crowd that has a walkway in between your mixer and a speaker. It's not going to be a problem anymore.
I'm just going to be wishing there were walkways.
But yeah, look, multiple uses. If you can think of any others, let me know in the comments below.
Is there anything they can't do?
Okay, so this is called the Crafty Music Tips channel. So here's a few extra helpful tips to help you on your way. So the closer the transmitter and the receivers are to each other, the more robust that the signal will be. So think of some ways that you could get them closer. So, you know, you can plug a receiver into a multi-core on stage rather than having to go all the way to the mixer itself. You could even help lessen the distance by plugging it into an XLR cable, which kind of lends itself to the next tip, which is omitting as many obstructions as possible. So making sure that it's just in the line of sight as best as it can be is just going to help, you know, there not be any dropouts.
Check, check, check. Is this on?
And now another helpful tip that's not on the subject of the actual signal quality itself is actually that you can buy multiple receivers. So for instance, let's just say that you've got 5 backing vocalists. They each need a foldback speaker, but they don't need a separate send. So instead of daisy chaining with actual cables, what you could do is from wherever the auxiliary send is being sent from through the transmitter, you could have 5 receivers all set to the same channel. So it's just receiving exactly the same signal and you don't need cables. All right, so what do I actually really think? Well, yes, I've been raving on about how much, you know, I'm really impressed by this already. So yeah, I love it. I've already got plans in mind of buying extra receivers so that if I need to just do a bit of a daisy chain thing like I mentioned, I'm going to do that. And yeah, I'm not just going to limit it to microphones. I'm going to use it with speakers. I'm going to go nuts.
You want to get nuts? Come on! Let's get nuts.
So if you're convinced, I'll leave a link below for where you can purchase it. Now, please let me know in the comments below, Did you learn anything? Did you find this video helpful? I'd love to know. Also, there's a bunch of other crafty music tips videos here on the Crafty Music Tips YouTube channel, not just product reviews, heaps of different things. So go check out a bunch of the different helpful things that might be of help to you. So that's it from me. Wherever you are, just remember that you don't have to do every single thing right now. Just do the next thing. Cheers. I'll see you soon.